What if I told you that most of the emotional chaos in your life isn't caused by the events themselves, but by how you react to them? Shocking, right? The truth is, we often let our emotions hijack our decisions, our peace of mind, and even our relationships. But here's the good news: mastering your reactions is entirely within your control, and it doesn't take years of practice. It starts now. In this video, we're diving deep into the Stoic principles that hold the key to emotional control. From the wisdom of Epictetus, you'll learn practical strategies to pause before reacting, embrace life's challenges, and build an unshakable mindset. Imagine the power of staying calm under pressure, letting go of anger, and transforming setbacks into opportunities. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions or trapped by your reactions, this is the moment to change. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to take control of your life, no matter what the world throws at you. Let's get started. The power of the gap. React versus respond. Have you ever acted out of pure impulse, only to regret it later? Perhaps you've sent an angry email, shouted in frustration, or made a snap decision that didn't serve you well. If you've been there, you're not alone. The truth is, many of us struggle with reacting instead of responding, especially when emotions run high. But here's the game changer. Mastering this moment of choice can transform not only how you handle challenges, but also the quality of your life. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's greatest minds, taught that between a stimulus and your reaction lies a precious moment, a gap. This gap is where true emotional control begins. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist, but about mastering them by pausing, reflecting, and responding intentionally. This simple pause has the power to turn chaos into clarity, anger into understanding, and impulsivity into wisdom. Let's break this down with a relatable scenario. Someone cuts you off in traffic. It's infuriating, right? Your first instinct might be to honk your horn, shout something you'll regret, or stew in frustration for the rest of your commute. But what if, instead, you took 3 deep breaths? Suddenly, you gain perspective. You realize that their behavior isn't a personal attack on you. It's likely a reflection of their own stress, distraction, or impatience. By pausing, you've chosen not to let their actions dictate your emotional state. That single moment of self-control turns what could have been a bad day into just another moment in time. Why is this gap so powerful? It gives you a chance to step out of autopilot mode. Most of us operate on autopilot when faced with irritations or stress. We react automatically, often based on ingrained habits or emotions that flare up without warning. But the gap gives you space to take control, to decide how you want to respond rather than being driven by impulses. Think of this gap as a muscle you can strengthen. The more you practice pausing and choosing your response, the stronger your ability to maintain emotional balance becomes. It's like learning to play an instrument or mastering a sport. It takes practice, but the rewards are immense. Imagine the power of consistently showing up as the calm, composed version of yourself, even when life throws curveballs your way. How can you start practicing this? 1. Begin with small irritation. The next time you're faced with a minor annoyance, like a slow internet connection, a long line at the grocery store, or a spilled drink, use it as an opportunity to pause. Take a deep breath, count to 3, and then decide how you want to respond. These small moments may seem insignificant, but they're building blocks for emotional mastery. 2. Create a mindful pause ritual. Make it a habit to incorporate mindful pauses into your daily routine. For example, before responding to an email that frustrates you, pause and take a sip of water. Before reacting to criticism, breathe deeply and ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this interaction? These rituals can help you ground yourself and break the cycle of reactive behavior. 3. Visualize potential scenarios. Spend a few minutes each morning visualizing situations where you might feel triggered. Picture yourself responding with calmness and clarity. This mental rehearsal prepares your brain to handle real-life challenges with grace. 4. Reflect on past reactions. Look back on moments when you reacted impulsively and ask yourself, What could I have done differently? Use these reflections as learning opportunities. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your behavior, which can help you anticipate triggers and respond more thoughtfully. The ripple effect of mastering the gap. When you consistently practice pausing and responding thoughtfully, the benefits ripple out into every area of your life. Relationships improve because you're no longer lashing out or letting anger dictate your interaction. Your decision-making becomes sharper because you're able to assess situations objectively rather than being clouded by emotion. And most importantly, you regain a sense of control over your inner world, which brings greater peace and resilience. Epictetus wisely pointed out, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This timeless wisdom reminds us that while we can't control every external event, we have full control over our reactions, and in that control lies our power. Let's return to our traffic example. Imagine not just avoiding a knee-jerk reaction, but also using the moment as an opportunity to practice compassion. Perhaps the driver who cut you off is rushing to a hospital or dealing with a personal crisis. By pausing and considering these possibilities, you move beyond just controlling your emotions. You elevate them. This shift doesn't just benefit you, it creates a ripple of kindness in the world around you, building resilience through the gap. The beauty of this practice is that it's not limited to minor irritations. Over time, mastering the gap prepares you for life's bigger challenges. Whether it's navigating a difficult conversation, managing a professional setback, or facing a personal loss, the ability to pause and respond thoughtfully becomes your anchor. It's a skill that fortifies your mental resilience and emotional intelligence, setting you apart in a world where impulsivity often reigns. To reinforce this practice, consider keeping a journal. At the end of each day, jot down moments when you successfully paused before reacting. Celebrate these small wins. They're proof of your growth. And if you slip up, that's okay too. Reflect on what triggered your reaction and how you can handle similar situations differently in the future. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. As you continue on this journey, remember that mastering the gap is a lifelong practice. It's not about suppressing your emotions or striving for unrealistic calmness in every situation. It's about creating a space where you can choose your response, a space where clarity, wisdom, and intentionality reside. So, the next time you're tempted to react impulsively, pause, take a deep breath, embrace the gap, and know that in doing so, you're not just responding to the moment, you're shaping the person you want to become. The dichotomy of control. Life feels overwhelming when we try to control everything, doesn't it? We stress about outcomes, agonize over other people's opinions, and attempt to micromanage circumstances far beyond our influence. But here's the liberating truth: not everything is within your control. In fact, much of what consumes your mental and emotional energy lies entirely outside your sphere of influence. Recognizing this distinction is where true freedom begins. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who continues to inspire us centuries later, introduced a powerful concept known as the dichotomy of control. At its core, it's a simple yet profound principle. Focus on what you can control, your actions, thoughts, and choices, and let go of what you can't, like other people's behavior, external circumstances, or random events. This distinction, while straightforward, has the power to reshape how you approach life, freeing you from unnecessary worry and frustration. Why do we resist this principle? The idea of letting go can feel counterintuitive. Many of us cling to the illusion of control, believing that if we just try hard enough, plan meticulously, or worry incessantly, we can influence outcomes. But this is exhausting and often futile. The weather doesn't care about your plans, traffic won't change to suit your schedule, and people will think and act however they please. Accepting these truths doesn't mean giving up. It means redirecting your energy to where it truly matters. A practical example: mastering the controllable. Imagine you've prepared thoroughly for an important presentation. You've spent days researching, practicing, and refining your delivery. These are all actions within your control. But when the moment comes, the audience seems disengaged. Some are scrolling on their phones, others wear blank expressions. How do you respond? If you fixate on their reactions, you might feel discouraged, anxious, or even resentful. But here's the key: their engagement is not within your control. What is in your control is how you choose to interpret the situation and continue delivering your presentation with confidence and poise. By focusing on the effort you've put in rather than their response, you protect your peace of mind and perform at your best. Daily practice: shifting your focus. Applying the dichotomy of control is a skill that grows with practice. A powerful way to incorporate it into your life is through daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to identify one thing that worried you. Write it down and ask yourself, was this within my control? If not, consider how much mental energy you spent on it and how you might redirect that energy in the future. For example, let's say you spent the day stressing about a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. You can't control the behavior of your colleagues or the decisions that will be made, but you can control how you prepare, your attitude going into the meeting, and how you respond to whatever happens. This simple exercise trains your mind to focus on what matters and release what doesn't. Reframing control, a mental shift. One of the greatest benefits of practicing the dichotomy of control is the mental clarity it brings. By shifting your focus from what's uncontrollable to what's actionable, you reduce anxiety and regain a sense of agency. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstances, but an active participant in your own life. Let's return to the example of the weather. Imagine you've planned an outdoor event, only to see rain in the forecast. Your initial reaction might be frustration or disappointment, but rather than dwelling on the uncontrollable, the weather, you could shift your focus to creating a backup plan. Maybe you find an indoor venue or prepare fun activities to make the most of the situation. This mental shift not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to take proactive steps. Building resilience through acceptance. Accepting what you can't control doesn't mean resignation or apathy. On the contrary, it strengthens your resilience. When you stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable, you free up mental and emotional resources to tackle challenges with greater clarity and effectiveness. For instance, let's say you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important appointment. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you spend that time. Maybe you use it to listen to an audiobook, practice gratitude, or simply breathe deeply and stay calm. By focusing on your response, you turn a frustrating situation into a manageable one, and possibly even a productive one. Epictetus' timeless wisdom. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything that comes your way. It means actively engaging with life in the areas where you have influence while releasing the need to control the rest. This mindset not only reduces unnecessary suffering, but also allows you to approach life with greater grace and composure. The ripple effect on relationships. The dichotomy of control doesn't just benefit you, it enhances your relationships as well. When you stop trying to control others' opinions, actions, or feelings, you create space for healthier, more authentic connections. Instead of reacting defensively to criticism or trying to change someone's behavior, you focus on your own values, boundaries, and actions. This shift fosters mutual respect and understanding, strengthening your relationships over time. Practical exercises to integrate this principle. 1. Control audit. Each morning, identify one area of your life where you feel overwhelmed. Break it down into what's within your control and what isn't. Commit to focusing only on the controllable aspects throughout the day. 2. Mantra for letting go. Create a mantra to remind yourself to release what you can't control. For example, I focus on what I can change and let go of the rest. Repeat this to yourself whenever you feel stress creeping in. 3. Visualize outcomes. Before facing a challenging situation, visualize both the best and worst outcomes. Acknowledge what's within your control and prepare accordingly. This exercise reduces fear of the unknown and builds confidence, a life of freedom and focus. Once you grasp the dichotomy of control, life's curveballs no longer feel so daunting. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to practice resilience rather than threats to your peace of mind. By focusing on what's within your power, you reclaim your energy, sharpen your perspective, and cultivate a sense of inner freedom. So, the next time life feels overwhelming, pause and ask yourself, what's truly within my control? The answer might surprise you and set you free. Reframe negative events. Perception is key. What if I told you that nothing in life is inherently good or bad? It's all about how you perceive it. At first, this might sound overly simplistic, even idealistic, but Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher whose teachings remain timeless, firmly believed that your perception shapes your reality. It's not the events themselves that determine how we feel, but the meaning we assign to them. This subtle yet profound truth holds the power to transform how we experience life. Consider this: two people can face the exact same situation, yet one thrives while the other crumbles. How can this be? The difference lies not in the external circumstances, but in their mindset. Learning to reframe negative events is a cornerstone of emotional control and self-mastery. When you master this skill, you gain the ability to turn setbacks into stepping stones and challenges into opportunities for growth. The power of perspective. Let's explore this concept with a relatable example. Imagine receiving harsh criticism at work. Your initial reaction might be anger, embarrassment, or defensiveness. It's natural to feel attacked or inadequate in moments like these. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, you paused and asked yourself, what can I learn from this? Suddenly, the criticism shifts from being an attack on your character to a tool for growth. Perhaps the feedback highlights a skill you need to improve, or a blind spot you hadn't noticed. This simple shift in perspective transforms what could have been a discouraging moment into an empowering one. You reclaim control over the narrative and use the situation to your advantage. How reframing affects your emotional state. When you change the way you perceive an event, you also change the emotions associated with it. Negative emotions like anger, frustration, and despair often stem from rigid interpretations of what happens to us. But when you challenge those interpretations and choose a more constructive perspective, you replace those emotions with feelings of curiosity, resilience, and empowerment. For instance, let's say you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. Your initial thought might be, "This is a disaster. I'm going to ruin my reputation by being late." But if you take a step back and reframe the situation, you might think, "This is beyond my control. I'll use this time to rehearse my key points or practice deep breathing to stay calm." With this shift, the frustration dissipates and you regain a sense of control. Practical exercises for reframing negative events. Reframing isn't something that happens automatically. It's a skill that requires practice. Here are 3 steps to help you start. 1. Ask yourself key questions. The next time you face a setback, pause and reflect on these 3 questions. Zenotation spot: what's the worst case scenario here? Zenotation spot: what's within my control? Zenotation spot: what lesson can I take from this? By answering these questions, you bring clarity to the situation and shift your focus from dwelling on the negative to finding actionable solutions. 2. Look for the silver lining. Even in the most challenging situations, there's often a hidden benefit or opportunity. For example, losing a job might open the door to a career path that aligns better with your passion. A failed relationship might teach you valuable lessons about boundaries and self-respect. Train yourself to seek out these silver linings, no matter how small they may seem. 3. Practice gratitude in adversity. Gratitude might be the last thing on your mind when facing difficulties, but it's a powerful tool for reframing. Ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this situation? For example, if you're dealing with a tough critique, you might be grateful for the chance to grow. If you're facing rejection, you might be thankful for the opportunity to build resilience. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. Why reframing matters. Reframing isn't about ignoring reality or sugarcoating challenges. It's about choosing a perspective that serves you best. As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. This Stoic wisdom reminds us that our power lies not in controlling external events, but in shaping how we interpret them. Think about a time when something that seemed negative at first turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Perhaps a missed opportunity led you to something even better. Or maybe a tough period in your life taught you lessons that made you stronger and wiser. These experiences are proof that perception truly is key. How reframing strengthens resilience. When you practice reframing consistently, you develop a mindset that thrives in the face of adversity. Challenges no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles, but rather opportunities to grow and learn. This mindset doesn't just help you handle individual setbacks, it builds a foundation of resilience that serves you throughout your life. For example, let's say you're training for a marathon, and you injure yourself a few weeks before the race. At first, it's easy to feel defeated, but reframing the situation might lead you to focus on recovery, learn about injury prevention, and come back stronger for the next race. This perspective not only helps you cope, but also prepares you to handle future challenges with greater grace. How to make reframing a habit. To make reframing a natural part of your mindset, practice it daily. Start by reflecting on your day each evening and identifying one situation where you successfully reframed a negative event. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to automatically seek constructive perspectives, even in difficult moments. The ripple effect of reframing. Reframing doesn't just impact your own emotional state, it influences those around you as well. When you approach challenges with a calm and constructive mindset, you set an example for others. Your resilience and positivity inspire those in your circle to adopt similar habits, creating a ripple effect of emotional strength and empowerment. The takeaway. Reframing is a powerful tool for transforming how you experience life. It's not about denying challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see the opportunities for growth and learning that every situation offers. With practice, you'll find that even the hardest moments carry seeds of wisdom and strength. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, pause. Ask yourself, how can I reframe this? In doing so, you'll take charge of your narrative, strengthen your resilience, and discover the transformative power of perception. Practice emotional distancing. Emotions are powerful, aren't they? They can inspire you to achieve great things, but they can also lead you to make choices you regret. They lift you to incredible highs, yet they can also pull you into overwhelming lows. But here's the Stoic secret: your emotions are not you. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that by viewing emotions as separate from yourself, you gain the ability to observe them without being consumed. This practice of emotional distancing is a game changer for mastering your reactions and finding peace amid life's chaos. Why emotional distancing matters. Too often, we let our emotions take the driver's seat. A single moment of anger can lead to hurtful words. A fleeting feeling of fear can cause us to avoid opportunities. When emotions control us, we lose our ability to think clearly and act intentionally. But when we create space between ourselves and our emotions, we regain control over how we respond. Think of it like watching a storm from the safety of your home. You see the lightning, hear the thunder, and feel the wind, but you're not standing in the middle of the storm. Similarly, emotional distancing allows you to observe your feelings without being swept away by them. Imagine feeling anger bubbling up during a heated argument. The urge to lash out can feel overwhelming, but what if, instead of acting on it, you mentally stepped back and thought, "I'm noticing anger right now." This simple acknowledgement creates space between you and the emotion, allowing you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. It's as if you become a calm observer of your inner storm, watching it pass instead of letting it control you. How to practice emotional distancing. Emotional distancing isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing and acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. Here are practical ways to develop this skill. 1. Name your emotions. The next time you feel a strong emotion, pause and name it. For example, say, "I feel frustration," or "I feel sadness." By labeling the emotion, you acknowledge its presence without letting it overwhelm you. This act of naming creates a sense of separation between you and the feeling. 2. Use mindfulness exercises. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for emotional distancing. When emotions arise, focus on your breath and anchor yourself in the present moment. For instance, take a deep breath in, hold it for a count of 3, and exhale slowly. This practice helps you step out of the intensity of the emotion and view it from a calmer perspective. 3. Practice the observer mindset. Picture yourself as an observer of your own mind. When emotions arise, imagine watching them like clouds drifting across the sky. This visualization helps you see emotions as temporary states rather than permanent parts of who you are. 4. Reframe your language. Instead of saying, "I am angry," try saying, "I feel anger." This subtle shift in language reinforces the idea that emotions are experiences, not your identity. 5. Pause before reacting. When an emotion arises, give yourself a few seconds to pause before taking any action. Use this pause to ask yourself, what's the best way to respond in this situation? This deliberate moment of reflection helps you choose a response aligned with your values, rather than an impulsive reaction. The benefits of emotional distancing. When you practice emotional distancing, you'll notice several powerful benefits. Zenotation. Spot greater self-control. By observing your emotions instead of being consumed by them, you gain the power to choose how you act. This helps you avoid impulsive decisions and respond in ways that align with your long-term goals. Zenotation. Spot increased emotional intelligence. Emotional distancing allows you to understand your feelings on a deeper level. Instead of being overwhelmed, you become curious about your emotions, exploring what they're trying to tell you. Zenotation. Spot improved relationships. By distancing yourself from reactive emotions like anger or defensiveness, you can approach conflicts with empathy and understanding, leading to healthier and more meaningful connections. Zenotation. Spot enhanced resilience. When you see emotions as temporary experiences, you're better equipped to handle life's ups and downs. You realize that no matter how intense a feeling may be, it will eventually pass. A Stoic perspective on emotion. Epictetus often reminded his students, "You are not your emotions, but you do control how you act on them." This wisdom emphasizes that while we can't prevent emotions from arising, we have full control over how we respond to them. Emotions are natural and human, but they don't have to define us or dictate our behavior. For example, imagine you've just received disappointing news. Your first reaction might be sadness or frustration, and that's okay. But instead of letting those feelings spiral into hopelessness or anger, you can pause, acknowledge the emotion, and choose a constructive response. Perhaps you decide to focus on what you can do to move forward, or take a moment to practice gratitude for the things that are still going well in your life. Strengthening your practice. Like any skill, emotional distancing takes time and practice to develop. Start with small, everyday situation. The next time you feel irritated by a slow cashier or frustrated by a delayed response, pause and observe the emotion. With consistent effort, you'll find it easier to apply this skill to more significant challenges. To reinforce this practice, consider keeping a journal. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when you successfully distanced yourself from your emotions. What worked well? What could you improve? Journaling helps you track your progress and refine your approach. The path to inner peace. As you refine the practice of emotional distancing, you'll notice a growing sense of inner peace. No longer will your emotions dictate your actions or control your state of mind. Instead, you'll feel empowered to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and intention. So, the next time you feel a strong emotion rising, remember this: you are not your emotions. You are the observer, the thinker, the one who decides. Embrace this truth, and you'll unlock a level of self-mastery that transforms not only your reactions but your entire experience of life. Are you finding these Stoic insights transformative? If so, take a moment to support this journey. Hit the like button. It's a simple way to let me know this content is helping. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to grow with us. And why not share this video with someone who could benefit from mastering their emotion? Together, let's spread the wisdom of Stoicism far and wide. Amor, Fati, loving what happens. Life doesn't always go the way we plan, does it? But instead of resisting reality, what if you could embrace it fully, even the challenging parts? That's the essence of Amor Fati, the Stoic practice of loving your fate. Epictetus believed that by accepting everything life throws at you, both the good and the bad, you cultivate unshakable mental resilience and emotional freedom. Picture a situation where a flight cancellation ruins your vacation plans. The initial frustration is natural, but what if you reframed it? Maybe this is a chance to explore a hidden gem nearby, or spend quality time reading a book you've been neglecting. By choosing to love what happens, you turn obstacles into opportunities and take control of your emotional state. To align with this mindset, try practicing gratitude daily. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, even if they're small, like a kind word from a stranger or the warmth of your morning coffee. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, making it easier to embrace life as it unfolds. Epictetus reminds us, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy. By practicing Amor Fati, you find peace in the flow of life and build the strength to navigate its unpredictability. And speaking of strength, let's explore how small, deliberate challenges can train your mind to handle anything. Use voluntary discomfort to train reactions. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs, but the Stoics saw it differently. Epictetus taught that by willingly embracing small challenges, you build the strength to face life's bigger hurdles. This practice, known as voluntary discomfort, trains your mind to remain calm and steady under pressure. It's like a workout, not for your body, but for your resilience. Think about taking a cold shower. It's unpleasant at first, but it teaches you to endure discomfort and stay composed. Or try skipping a meal, not because you have to, but to remind yourself that you can handle hunger. These small, intentional acts of discomfort condition your mind to see challenges as temporary and manageable, making real-life obstacles less intimidating. Another example could be practicing public speaking in front of a mirror or a small group. The initial fear may feel overwhelming, but each attempt chips away at that fear, replacing it with confidence. These exercises aren't about suffering, they're about preparation. When you choose discomfort, you control it, and that choice builds unshakable confidence. Epictetus often reminded his students, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. By incorporating voluntary discomfort into your life, you reveal and strengthen your inner resolve. And as you embrace these challenges, you'll find it easier to let go of attachments that no longer serve you. Let's dive into that next. The art of letting go. Release what doesn't serve you. Holding on to grudges, expectations, or even outdated beliefs can weigh you down emotionally. The Stoics, including Epictetus, understood the liberating power of letting go. By releasing what doesn't serve you, you create space for peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. It's not about giving up, it's about freeing yourself from the chains of unnecessary burden. Imagine clinging to a past mistake, replaying it over and over in your mind. What does that accomplish? The situation has already passed, yet the emotional baggage remains, draining your energy. Instead, what if you viewed that mistake as a lesson? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing to move forward without letting the past dictate your future. To practice this, try journaling about something you're struggling to release. Write down why it's holding you back and what you'd gain by letting it go. For example, if you're holding on to resentment towards someone, reflect on how forgiveness could bring you peace. Pair this with forgiveness exercises, such as writing a letter to the person, even if you never send it. The act alone can be profoundly healing. As Epictetus wisely stated, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Letting go is not just about loss, it's about liberation. And with this newfound freedom, you're ready to take control of your reactions and master your emotions completely. So, here's the big question. What will you do with the Stoic tools you've just learned? Will they simply be ideas you heard, or will they become the foundation for a life of clarity, calm, and control? Remember, Stoicism isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. Each time you pause before reacting, reframe a negative event, or let go of what no longer serves you, you're stepping closer to mastering your emotions and living with purpose. Think about one principle from this video that resonated with you the most. Is it the dichotomy of control, learning to focus only on what you can influence, or perhaps Amor Fati, embracing everything life throws your way? Choose one and take action today. You'll be amazed at how quickly these small changes can transform your mindset and your life. Before you go, let's make this a conversation. Drop a comment below and share which Stoic principle you're excited to practice. Your story could inspire someone else to begin their journey too. And don't forget, backhand index pointing right, hit that like button to let me know this content resonated with you. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to the channel for more insights on mastering your reactions and building mental resilience. Backhand index pointing right, share this video with a friend who could benefit from Stoic wisdom. They'll thank you for it. Together, we're not just learning about Stoicism, we're living it.